And I said, gotta go! And I ran out the door to the car. So I could never see Hello Kitty again. I hate Hello Kitty.
Known as the four Khrises of the apocalypse.
Yeah. What's
You said you didn't have a Christmas.
I know. I lied. Anyway, so what's going to happen? So what's going to happen is first of all, they're going to introduce themselves and then they're going to take questions from you guys. The rules of this are thus.
We have microphones up here. They're all on.
Use it.
Okay, seriously, can you hear me?
Yeah. We can't hear you.
I don't care. You know the rules. They only refer to them as Kris. That's it. No last names. So you ask for Kris and you just go, Kris, blah. They'll figure it out.
Go Kris, blah. Exactly that.
And it may or may not be the Kris. You want to answer it? Oh well. Also, to keep things simple, you are now all Bruce. That was the first Bruce. You were great. We're good, Bruce. So you ready to get started? You ready?
Hi guys, my name is Kris, obviously. I am a voice actor and ADR director, also a theatrical director, choreographer, fight director, improvisational comedian, and Doctor Who fanatic.
This is dead. This is dead.
Here's your water too.
No, you didn't. Okay.
No, it's on, it's on.
I'm the lying Kris.
Hello. All right. My name is Kris. I am a comic book artist. My credits include Young Justice, The Batman Strikes, Batman 66, and the upcoming Parallel Man, which none of you have ever heard of because it's new.
Hi, my name is Kris.
Hi, Chris.
And I have a problem. My name is Kris. And hello, Bruce's. Let's see. I'm a voice actor, director, writer for stuff and things, and yeah, for stuff and things. And let's see. I guess maybe you should name some. Full Metal Alchemist, it was Gluttony, and then Holy Road Empire, Natalia, and Tien, and Popo, and Dragon Ball Z, and Facebook Shooty, and Borderlands 2, and all kinds of wacky and fun things. And to my left.
Hi, my name is Kris.
Hi, Kris.
Even amongst the Khrises, I'm a weirdo because my Kris is a K, Kris.
Heretic!
It's alright. I just say thanks, Mom and Dad. I was actually pre-accepted to girls' colleges. True fact. I got them in that. I wanted to go and meet my roommate. So.
You should have gone, man.
I should have, exactly. Let's see here. Let's see here. What year is this? 2014. 14 years ago, I was bored and made a website called animemusicvideos.org, and people kind of liked it. I don't know why. I just made the site. And just so everybody knows, the videos that you see, I did not make them. People say, wow, I like that video that you made. No, I did not make them. Other people made them. I am just the messenger here. If you want to say thank you to the person that made it, please go to animemusicvideos.org and say thank you. That's me. Take it away, Bruce.
Okay, real quick.
Oh, Kris. No, we can go to the last Kris.
Real quick before we start, I'm just going to say this. I say this on multi-panels. There are more disciplines up here than just voice acting. This is not a voice acting panel. This is not a how do I get into voice acting panel. This is about all kinds of other stuff. So we prefer not having questions about that, questions that we can all answer.
Dating advice.
No, you don't want to compete for dating. Maybe you do have got a cute girlfriend. Okay.
So, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to ask a question. You? Yep.
Yes. Bruce there.
Kris, as you evolved into conventions previously, what's something extremely weird that seems to happen quite a bit despite how weird it is?
Double weird.
So weird that it's even weird for us
And
weirdos.
this happens constantly despite how weird it is, specifically at conventions. Like, just something to do with people walking up to you, or just the environment, anything.
I have one, Bruce. I mean, as soon as you said that, I immediately thought of a moment that happened to me, and I think I'll share it here because we all have one of two names in this room. I remember being at a con and it was I hadn't gone to a lot, and I was a guest at a con, and I was it was over my birthday. It was in November, and they took me out to dinner, and they gave me a cake with different characters on it. It was really cool of them, and about half of the cake was still finished or was left to be eaten. And I put it in a white box, and I'm walking down the hall on a Friday night, down the hall of the hotel, and all I wanted to do was go to my hotel room, face plant, eat and cry as usual. But tonight, I'm walking forward. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a person appears, a lady appears, and she says, "Hi." I said, "Hello." She said, "I have a favorite anime character." And I said, "You're at the right place. You're at Anime Con. I have you." And she said, "Yeah, well, I like to keep my favorite anime character really close to my body." Uh-oh! Right, okay, sure, excellent. I understand you want to do that. She said, "Do you want to see what I mean?" And before I had a chance to say, "No!" like the Matrix, she turns around, pulls her pants halfway down, bending forward in front of me, essentially mooning me, and showing me her pink Hello Kitty underwear. At which point, the cake got a little heavier, and she turns back around, red-faced, a little bit of sweat, like an anime, right there. "Hey, do you like that?" And I said, "Gotta go!" And I ran up to my room and face-planted and ate. And that was Friday night. Cut to Sunday, closing ceremonies. And it's like, "Hey, we had a great time," and it's a crowded room like this, and there's a car waiting to take me to the airport. My bags are behind me. I say, "Okay, bye, everybody." I walk with the bags, and everybody's crossing the room, and suddenly, brrr, "Remember me?" "I think I do." And she says, "Guess what I'm wearing?" And I said, "Could it be that you're wearing..." Before I had a chance to finish, she turns around with more confidence, pants further down. Now she's showing me her yellow Hello Kitty panties. Now, I guess she brought the Hello Kitty fun pack. I don't know. And luckily they were not the pink ones from 2 nights before. So she turns around and says, "What did you think about that?" And I said, "Gotta go!" And I ran out the door to the car. So I could never see Hello Kitty again. I hate Hello Kitty.
I've got one too. This isn't nearly as funny as his. But you probably all have dealt with this. And that's the person who comes up to you. Okay, how many conventions do you guys do a year? Just roughly. 15?
1.
10, 15? I know you do one. I do about 10 to 15 a year. It's a lot of cons, a lot of people, a lot of different size conventions. The one that I was at before this was 17,000 people in Washington, D.C. And you know how annoying it is to have somebody come and go, "Hi, you remember me?" And you go, "Yeah, who am I?" And that's when I go, "Don't do that. Don't be a jerk." Because the thing is, you're in a different costume last year. I don't recognize you. I don't recognize from one costume to another. And then people get butthurt if you don't remember them. And some people you remember, some people you don't. But if you show up in a costume, and then you meet me another year in a different costume, don't expect me to recognize you. It's just kind of rude.
I'm sure to know if I remember you from yesterday.
I said, that many conventions, plus I teach. I work with like 9 different schools. So I've got all those people to keep straight in my head. So it's like...
They're all named Kris and Bruce.
Exactly.
Context is everything. I appear at conventions as a comic book artist. I'm involved with Convergence here locally, and I know people from that. I have a lot of friends, and I've done some stuff in the local theater scene. So I'll randomly see somebody that just comes up and starts talking to me like I'm supposed to know who they are, and I have the little, I've pulled the lever, and I'm hoping the 3 cherries come up to remember, like, where am I supposed to know you from?
And with me, I'm good with faces. So a lot of times I will recognize the face, but don't ask me the name. Like, I've seen 3 people that have been here since they walked in. I'm like, I know that person. I don't know their name, but I know them, and I'm like, I know that person. So
They look like they're from Minnesota.
They might be. But yeah, I do remember a lot of people, but just don't ask me names. I'm Bruce. Bruce from now on.
This single room is the best room for that.
Yes, it is. Another question.
You?
Bruce back here.
Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
I'm Bruce.
Kris, there's a lot of pranks that seem to go around the people that get invited to these types of conventions. What is either the worst prank you've ever had pulled on yourself, or the best prank that you have pulled on someone?
Does it have to be at a convention?
And by the way, before we get started, I don't know about you, but he just said, "Hey, Kris, you have a question." Did you look at that thing? We went, "Oh, like it's me." Oh, it's all of us.
I feel less special.
Okay, I will say this. The best prank puller of all time is a Kris. But it's not one of us. It's not one of us. There's a guy named Christopher Sabat.
Christopher Robin.
Who, I could go on for an entire panel about the stuff that he's done. I will just say this. This is a man that is the reason that when you walk away from your computer at Funimation, within 5 to 10 seconds, it locks. Because he used to go into the head of production's office and fire people. He'd get on his email and just randomly fire people. And they'd come to Justin and go, "Oh my God, what did I do?" He goes, "Oh, Sabat." That's probably, he has some of the best practical jokes I've ever seen.
Yeah, if you give him your phone, hey man,
Don't give him your phone.
Can I borrow your phone?
No.
Don't ever give him your phone. Because when you get it back, it will be in Portuguese, and you can't get it. You'll have a different code. It's over. Don't give him your phone.
One time, when he first opened his studio, Overdrawn, they were doing a lot of production work for the Wii launch. Now, God, who was his partner at the time? It was Rick Pearsall.
Oh, right.
Rick was doing a lot of the dealing with the Japanese. Well, they were all living together. And Kris came in late one night, a little drunk, and Pearsall's phone was laying there, the BlackBerry. So he went to the bathroom, and he took Chris's phone with him, and he changed the autocorrect on the phone. He changed the word "am" to "am so gay." He changed the words "the" to "the effing." Then wasn't content with that. He went and sunk it with Rick's computer, and then put it back on the table where he found it. So the next day, Rick grabbed his BlackBerry, getting ready to leave for work, and sent a letter to the head of Sony Japan. It said, "Dear Mr. So-and-so, this is Rick Pearsall from Ogretron 5000. Look, it's Wednesday and I still haven't seen the check you promised. Please get back in touch with me as soon as possible." By the time he got to work, there were all of these letters of check. "Mr. Pearsall, we will overnight the check. We will overnight the check today." Until he looked at the email on his computer at work and saw what he sent. He had no idea. Yeah. They did get the check faster. That's it.
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I know him too. And, well, fortunately, but it's not fortunate. I don't like. See, to me, pranks are kind of like a joke is when you and I are both laughing. A prank is when just I am. So I don't know how I feel about pranks, but Sabat is the king.
King of them.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. What about you guys? Chris?
There's a comic artist that I see at convention once in a while. His name is Bruce Ha. Well, he sometimes goes by Gene. Gene Ha. He got to the point where his sketches, his commission drawings at conventions were in demand enough, but he didn't really particularly need the extra money. So instead of charging people an exorbitant rate that nobody could afford, he decided if you wanted a sketch from him at a convention, he'd make you do something.
Oh.
And so you'd be at a convention that Gene was there, and if you saw somebody hop past you singing opera, like, oh, they're getting a sketch from Gene.
I like that.
He decided one time that one of the things he would make someone do is go to another artist that was there and get a pair of his socks. Presumably he only had the one pair with him, so that meant he had to talk him out of the pair of socks he was wearing. But it was just, you know, it had the added level of entertainment of like, you didn't have to be seated near Gene, you didn't have to know what the deal was. You just see someone doing this random thing and they're like, oh, getting a sketch from Gene.
Chris?
I got nothing.
Going back to Chris's statement about you're the 4 Kris of the apocalypse, which one would you be?
Which of the 4 horses?
The horsemen.
Horsemen, rather?
There are 4 of us.
Well, I would be Kris.
The Kris of what?
Just to prevent the bloodbath that everybody convened to be death, I'll say pestilence.
Oh, you took mine. That's okay. I will be the Kris of famine. Because I don't eat a lot, so.
I'll be the Kris of bathroom etiquette.
Yeah, people do hate bathroom etiquette. You're right.
I'm the Kris of extremely long SQL queries.
There you go. I would go with the best ones.
On the right. Beautiful.
Bruce on the right with the glasses.
Well, I'm a CH Kris.
Badass. But you're Bruce for right now.
We're all Kris.
Wait, hang on, I can't hear it.
Hold on, we can't hear you.
Most of you guys have been to a lot of conventions. I'm sure you've seen some pretty fantastic costumes. What's the one that just sticks out of your mind and why?
I saw a full-size Totoro, and they couldn't get him in the door. It was huge. It would barely fit in this room, and I was just amazed that the person inside didn't melt.
I'll tell you, it may not have been the most stylish or the most elaborate, but probably one of the coolest costumes I saw was this year at InkyCon in Austin, Texas. There was a 4-year-old boy dressed as Bilbo Baggins. And his dad was dressed as Gandalf. He's probably 4 or 5 years old, and he was this little bitty hobbit wanderer, and it was so cute. It made my day. It made my day. Yeah, it was to scale. That'd be like if I did Bilbo opposite Michael Tatum.
I was at an anime con, but it was during the autograph, so I'm signing, and I look up, and I just hear, "Can you sign this for me?" And I look up, and it's Big Bird. It's a perfect Big Bird, and this hand moves, the other hand moves too, and there was even this. I'm like, "I love you, Big Bird." Tell me a story. I'll write whatever you want. So I was like, "Wow, this is a perfect." You Big Bird. And we're friends now. Big Bird and I are friends.
Nice. It's hard to pick because there's such a long list. The one that just happens to leap to mind is, if you know the basic 2-person way of doing a horse costume with the front and the back. I saw somebody that had done an Imperial Walker and ad. The thing that floored me wasn't, the whole thing was impressive and the guns went and the whole thing. It was when I saw that they had the Luke Skywalker action figure thing.
Chris?
All right, Bruce. I went first.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Lady with the okay.
Bruce ahead.
Hi, Kris.
Hi.
Bruce.
What's the nerdiest thing you've ever done?
What game?
My day job.
Let's see that.
It's like my entire life.
My whole life.
See, 4 Krises in this entire room is called Bruce. Let me think. Let's see. That's a
Everything.
tough-
It's everything
that's a
for
tough
me.
Had to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Same here.
When I opened up a package that ended up containing a new replica Batarang I had bought, and the first thing that was handy to open the box with was one of my other Batarangs.
I don't know, half of my life is nerdy. I'm a horror movie, science fiction, comic book geek. So, and I love all of it, an anime geek. Probably, I knew I had a problem this Christmas at my family's house, because I live with my family helping them with bills and stuff. And it was Christmas and we were decorating. And my mother said, Kris, I need to decorate the top of the shelves in the den. Can you please get all of the Doctor Who stuff off of the top of the shelves? And I realized the top of those shelves were like my Masterpiece collection figures, my TARDIS and 7th Doctor, my 7th Doctor mug, all Doctor Who stuff. And I was like, no Doctor Who Christmas? No. I need room for the Christmas things. Doctor Who stuff goes for a little while.
Weeping Angel on top of the tree.
Thank you. Hell yeah. So yeah, I really want to do one of the dollar Christmas trees one year. That would be so badass. I don't know. Everything about me is geeky, so.
Yeah. I mean, I can't pinpoint just. I mean,
Yeah.
Hard to pick.
hard to pick. I mean, I don't know. Okay. I almost got into a very serious bidding war recently. Do you remember the original V miniseries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, for a short time, they made a 12-foot V. 12 foot. 12 inch. See what I mean? Yeah. A huge action figure soldier, and of course he had a human face. You could tear it off, and
Yeah.
there would be this scaly, I almost paid like hundreds of dollars, like whatever, that. Yeah. They're not available anymore. I almost paid way too much for that, and then I was backed off the ledge slowly, and I didn't do it. But I love that show, and I'll stand by it anyway.
It's a great show. It was a great show.
As opposed to the newer one,
Yeah.
which didn't.
Which did not have Michael Ironside in it. And, Michael Ironside, ooga booga, ooga booga.
More than Beastmaster.
Yes. Oh yes, you're right.
Or 12-foot action figures.
Oh
Yeah.
I would have watched that.
Yeah.
And
All right,
Bruce with the orange hair.
Orange hair, Bruce. Go for it.
What's your favorite panel that you do or type of panel that you do?
Anime music videos.
Combat for cosplay because I'm a stage combat geek. Yeah, there's one of my fighters back there.
I do one where actually it's called Sound Off, and I think it's tomorrow, and it's where I ask the audience ridiculous questions, and I love the answers.
Reverse Q&A.
It's reverse Q&A, and I love that because I get to find out about the people
Yeah.
at the con as well, and it's really cool.
Those are fun panels.
Yeah.
Reverse Q&As are fun.
I tend to like goofy panels, kind of like this one, where you just give personalities and funny and not overly dry Q&A, although those can be great too. One of my favorites is a panel we do annually at Convergence every year is called Smackdown. And we basically have a different category each year. We've done spaceships, robots, mad scientists, breakfast cereal mascots one year. And we have basically elimination matches starting with 16, and a panel of experts debates the merits of each in head-to-head matchups until you get down to a champion. And the leaps of logic of what decides these contests get really goofy down to well, this had better theme music. It's just a lot of fun.
I like
Very
that.
silly.
That sounds fun.
I gotta know who won the cereal mascot.
I'm trying.
Blueberry.
Was it Blueberry?
Or no, Frankenberry.
Frankenberry. There you go. She was there.
Oh,
Frankenberry.
I did
I-
it.
The results do not always make sense.
I recently did with Dan and Jillian, Samurai Dan and Jillian. They do rather because they don't like the guest uncensored panel. So instead, they do a full audience Cards Against Humanity. They divide up into teams. The guests get to read the answers. It is so much fun. We had a great time, and then one section of the audience would win.
Oh wow.
It was really a lot of fun.
That sounds cool.
It was a lot of fun. I just recently discovered that game at that panel. I had a great time.
All right, Bruce.
Crap, I did again. Okay, what is the funniest thing, bad for you, great for us, that has happened to you at a convention?
We're supposed to be giving them ideas?
Bad for us, good for you, or good for us, bad for you?
Either one.
Any panel where I have to talk. Normally I walk in and press play. That's it. No.
One time I met this girl who liked Hello Kitty. I don't know what else.
No, okay, good for you, bad for you. And this is a story I normally say front center. I'm gonna have to tell a slightly cleaner version of it. I would no, because this is not 18 and a half. So I'm gonna be very careful about this, but I think I can tell this story. A number of years ago, I did NECOCon in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and it's a con that I really enjoyed going to. Well, the first year, I knew a couple of people in guest relations staff, so a bunch of them were hanging out in my room Thursday night, and one of the girls who I didn't know was telling this story, and it was something gross, so she jumped up and was like, ooh, and she backed into the armoire thing that was holding the television. And she grabbed her butt and goes, oh, and fell from like a drama queen. And so we're sitting there talking, and she said, oh God, my butt hurts, and she brought her hand up and it was covered in blood. The corner of this armoire was so sharp, it cut a gash in her butt. Well, all of a sudden, all the girls ran into my bathroom like, oh my God, I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm going, what is going on, what is going on? And all of a sudden, they all rushed out, leaving me to go, what the heck? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to bed. Went to bed, woke up the next day, went in for breakfast. The rumor had started circulating that one of the guest liaisons left my room at 2 in the morning with her butt sore and bleeding. I couldn't argue because it was true. But it's not what it sounded like. That's probably bad for me, good for you.
With that.
That story makes my butt hurt. Bloody butt. Very uncomfortable.
I only found out because a con chair came up to me and said, hey, I want you to know what's being said. But I don't, no! Well, yes, but no! Sad. Another two. Or did you guys, do you have one?
I not to follow that.
Sorry.
Hi, Kris. If you had to limit yourself to one fandom for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, I hate you. I hate you, Bruce.
Boy Meets World.
That's good.
I almost said Vampire Diaries. It's like, what's the worst thing I can think of?
One.
50 shit, no.
Believer.
No. There's so many awful things.
You just dropped a bomb in this room.
Bruce, you've stumped us all, Bruce.
Jump.
Say the first thing that comes to mind.
Booger!
All about the question.
Also Booker.
Stop.
I was thinking Booker from Revenge of the Nerds. He's awesome.
Yeah, Curtis Armstrong.
Exactly.
Another question?
We're just avoiding that one, I guess.
Sorry, man. Ask a question we can answer.
Okay.
I think Bruce was first.
Oh.
Now, all four of you have been to conventions year-round. What has been your most scariest travel excursion?
Anytime I have to fly through Newark. The Newark airport, you're always delayed, you're always held back, you always miss your plane. Anytime a guy says, we'd like to fly you through Newark, I'm like, no. I won't come. You fly me through somewhere else because I will not go. Unless I am going to Newark, I won't fly through Newark.
I remember being on a plane, and it was a little plane, two seats on either side, and I'm sitting up against the window, as is my wont, to look out. It was a prop plane, which always is a little weird. So I'm up against the. Oh yeah.
There's a story about the M&Ms.
Oh, those
M&Ms. Yeah, dude.
Oh, they're mine.
Oh, they're awesome.
I'll just tell you the story later. Go ahead.
I forget a lot because I'm all the way over here.
So, yeah.
Little two-seater.
You fill a cup for him there, right?
No, yeah. Bruce? Hold on, nothing else matters. scary, blah, blah, blah. These are delicious, to be fair.
The rest of the panel will be chewing.
Right there. So it's a 2 and 2, and it's a prop plane. I'm looking at the window, making sure the propeller does it. It's always scary to be in a prop plane. And I see there is a young guy walking, and then behind the young guy is a woman, I assume at first maybe his mother. She's kind of looks like tan mom, if you know what I'm talking about. She's kind of a Jersey Shore tan mom-ish weird thing. So he sits on the aisle on the right, and she sits right next to me. And I'm staring at the window, trying to become one with the window, like, trying to blend in like camouflage. And so now I'm looking this way, and I feel a tap, tap, tap. And she's, excuse me, I was just curious. Did you request that window seat? I did. I said, well, actually I did. I like the window. She said, fine, good. And she starts talking to what I later find out is her boyfriend. So she's talking to him. I'm like, weird. So I'm back to the window. Excuse me, like, tap, tap, tap. I just want to know, and at this point I should mention she's tan, fried hair, dark sunglasses, the whole thing, first. So I just want to know, can we switch seats? I want the window seat. And of course I'm also thinking, why not sit with your boyfriend, but whatever. Okay. I said, well, actually, I like the window, and I want it. And she goes, okay, fine. Go back to blending. And then finally she goes up to me and she says, all right, look, I didn't want to say this, but if you don't give me the window seat, actually my boyfriend wants me to have the window seat. We're in a fight right now. And I said, well, it's terrible. I said, look, if you don't give me the window seat, and she lowers her sunglasses, she has a black eye. She said, if you don't give me a window seat, and I go, okay, I will give you the window seat. And she goes, I'm just kidding, I fell on a table, kid. Fell on a table. And I said, okay, scary lady. Because you can sit there. And I said, okay, cool. And then she handed me a Donald Trump book about how to become successful, and I read it the entire time. I'm sitting there, and she's watching me with her black eye like this, and I'm like, I'm learning so much, lady. It was a very hungry trip. Well, please, sure, why not? And I felt bad for the boyfriend. I see now why they were separated, by the way, and it was a nightmare for me. So that.
This isn't a particularly scary story, but it was funny, so I'll share it. I was flying to attend a convention. I don't want to embarrass them, so it was BruceCon. and I was flying there, and this convention, it turned out that they're very good at taking care of you as a guest, but just not so great at communicating to you in advance what they were going to do for you. So I arrived at the airport, and they'd arranged to fly me there, which was great. They hadn't informed me that they were going to have someone at the airport to pick me up. I figured I was finding my own way to the hotel, which would have been fine. And I was traveling there with Bruce, and we arrive at the destination city. We are on our way to collect our luggage. And as we're heading towards the escalators to head up to where the luggage pickup is, there's a woman standing there that compliments the shirt I'm wearing. And I was wearing some kind of a comic book t-shirt. I'm like, oh, thanks. And we're heading up the escalator, and Bruce there is behind me, so I turn around and talk to her. And as I look back, this woman who had been leaning against a column in the airport has a little whiteboard leaning up against the column that has my name on it. And I go back down the escalator to walk up to her, and I said, were you waiting for me? My name's Chris Jones. And she's like, oh, I thought you looked familiar. And it turned out she'd seen my Facebook page, so she knew what I looked like. And I'm like, all right, you know you're waiting to pick me up. I don't know that there's anyone waiting for me. You've got a whiteboard with my name on it. You compliment my superhero t-shirt as I'm coming to your convention as a guest because I'm a comic book artist. You think I look familiar, and speak to me, but don't think to either be holding up your sign or say, "You aren't Chris Jones, are you?" So I was very glad I looked back, otherwise she would have been waiting there a long time and we took a cab to the hotel. That's all I got.
It's like the John Berkeley story. He went to a convention in New York, and the guy who picked him up was a big Doctor Who fan and took him home. Showed his Doctor Who collection. He was like 4 hours late getting there. He had been kidnapped by the person picking him up. Yeah.
Should have used some Vanilla Mojito.
Exactly.
Situation.
Yeah. Another.
Bruce.
Bruce and Ayres.
So, being, I guess, nerds of your caliber, you've probably played some tabletop games in your day. D&D, who is your favorite character, if you had one, and why?
In D&D?
Yes.
I always played thieves.
Thieves are fun.
Thieves are a lot of fun.
I almost never played D&D, but I did go through a phase where I played a lot of Shadowrun.
Nice.
And I'm enough of a geek that I thought if I'm going to play a game that has the word shadow in it, I want to play a character that's a reference to the shadow.
Nice.
So I created a character that was a descendant of Lamont Cranston.
Hell yeah.
And my GM let me build unique powers that actually better reflected what the shadow could do than anything in the game.
Nice.
Because he knew I was the kind of player that would do self-detrimental things to my characters. So I could be trusted with those kinds of powers.
I played more Rift. I loved Rifts.
Oh, and the character's name was Shade.
I loved Rifts.
Well, I never really played D&D. Well, I played like a summer, and I only ever got to be a third level barbarian, and that's the end of my story. And these M&Ms are delicious.
You took me on a journey with that story. I really was transported. I like this. All right.
What about you?
I'm with this Kris, but I also play Thieves.
You play Thieves, cool.
Do you have a favorite memorabilia or any keepsake for nerdy keepsake that you have?
He opened the package with a batarang. Come on. I've got a huge collection of stuff. I'm also a collector of stuff. I collect all kinds of stuff. Probably the nerdiest. It was actually something I just got that I'm very, very excited about. I don't believe in paying for I don't even believe in paying for autographs.
It happens.
Oh, I know. But I believe that I really have an absolute disdain for people that come to conventions and charge for autographs. I think that's slimy. Our autographs are not worth anything. To me, all they are is a physical representation of a moment in time that I looked at you and you looked at me. And we met each other as human beings. You can't put a price tag on that. You're not gonna have to pay me for that. So I don't believe in buying autographs. But who here is from Illinois or from Chicago? Anybody? Okay. There is a place outside of Chicago called Alien Entertainment. It has got, look, you know it? Have you been there? He knows it. So, one entire quarter of this store is dedicated, I'll have to show you the pictures, are dedicated to Doctor Who memorabilia. They've got the largest collection of Big Finish audio CDs outside of the Big Finish website. It is amazing. And they had autographs. Well, I was like, no, I'm not going to buy any autographs. I'm not going to buy any autographs. And then I looked up, and there on the top shelf was an autograph that I had to have. Because my favorite actor of all time was in Doctor Who. My all-time favorite actor. And he's much older now. He doesn't get out of England much that I know of. So I now own an autographed photo of Sir Derek Jacobi as Professor Yana.
Nice.
I've been a fan of Derek Jacobi since I was in middle school when I, Claudius came on television. I became a huge fan, and I've followed his career and everything he's done. So I love Derek Jacobi. So that's probably one of my geekiest things, but I've got a ton of them. So
CAD files.
CAD files, wonderful. What about you guys?
Not every geeky thing I have is Batman. There's a lot of Star Trek and Doctor Who and everything else, but probably the single geekiest thing I have is I do have a replica of the Shakespeare bust that was the secret entrance to the Bat Cave. If I had a secret entrance, it would open a secret entrance. Instead, it's just how I turn on the lights in my living room.
Well, I have a lot of, let's say, old Star Wars stuff, and I have a lot of old Transformers stuff, and stuff. I mean, I just collect stuff from when I was a kid and other times. I think the geekiest moment, however, might have been when I was at Funimation. I was in Studio A, and they were recording Dragon Ball GT, and I was told that, I said, look, we have a very special guest who's going to come record this. I said, okay, cool. Who is it? Well, he's from Granbury. Granbury, Texas is a little town, maybe an hour outside of where we were. I said, okay, whatever. And I find out later, it's Peter Mayhew. It's Chewbacca. All 7'2", 7'3" of him. With his 5'3" manager/wife, by the way.
Oh, yes.
So when they walk in, so I thought, okay. So we're all in there, Chris Bevins is directing. But I just know, I don't remember it particularly, I just remember that at that one time, every single director, everybody in that building tried to be in Studio A at the same time. And we had nothing to do. So kind of like, we were just like, we were doing nothing, just waiting. All I wanted to do was watch Peter Mayhew clear the door frame to walk in the room. And I got what I wanted. I was like, good to do. And he was like, he lumbered and he had to bend for it to get in the room. Of course, he recorded sitting down. But before he had a chance to walk around, all of us go, can you get? Chris went, okay guys, you can go now. And we all piled out of there like, so yeah, he recorded that day. But it was really cool watching Peter Mayhew clear the door frame. I like that.
I've heard he's a very nice guy.
He really is.
What's the question? It was the geekiest thing that we...
Keepsake.
Yeah, actually, it's one thing that kind of makes me sad about anime conventions nowadays. I used to be a really big anime cell collector. I would get the original art that was used to create the anime, and year after year, there used to be like 5 or 6, just cell booths. And I would just be like, I cannot spend all of my life savings on these things. I was like, man, oh my gosh, and look at that. And so I've got a fairly decent anime cell collection that it's really, really hard to expand nowadays. So, I've got some Miyazaki cells and Evangelion cells and all this kind of good stuff, and I try to keep them as dark and vertical as possible with pieces of paper in between, because they'll stick to the background. I have a bunch of original backgrounds, all that kind of good stuff, and they'll stick, and then the paint will peel off, and I just look at them every once in a while and go, wow, and I click to the exact frame, and I hold it up.
And you can find the frames once you have the cell. You can see that frame every time.
Look at one frame, and then there it is, and that's it. Yeah, a lot of Ranma cells. I was a huge Ranma fan. I got a gazillion of those because they were actually affordable, at the time.
I actually did a con in Florida where one of my first shows was old cell animation, and they actually had cells of my character. So I have those framed.
Yes, I've got several framed, but now I walk into the dealer's room and go, man, there's no dealers anymore.
I know, there aren't. There are very few.
It's terrible.
Well, because everything's switched to digital.
I know, it's all digital, and it looks amazing, and it makes really great anime music videos. Trust me, they're awesome. But yeah, I miss the old cell stuff. I got a lot of it.
What I want to know is, have you ever gone to a convention yourself and literally turned right around after saying to somebody there as a guest, and you would expect to get a guest and you go, hey, I need your signature right now. Have you ever had that happen?
That becomes a very awkward thing sometimes when you're meeting someone as a contemporary, and then turn around and say, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" I was very weirded out. One of my best friends is a huge fan of Invader Zim. Well, Ricky Simmons is a really good friend of mine, the guy that does the voice of Gerber. And my best friend really wanted his autograph. I've known Ricky for years. And that becomes very awkward asking, hey buddy, can I have your autograph? I would do it for a friend, but it was very awkward and very weird.
I mean, there was a convention I went to once that I was really excited to meet one of the other guests I knew was going to be there because I had really wanted to show him my Hello Kitty underwear.
You do realize that if anybody here owns Hello Kitty underwear, you are going to be shown Hello Kitty underwear the entire time.
Don't think that I haven't been put through the rigor. People give me all kinds of stuff based on this. I have a Hello Kitty keychain, and you open up its butt, and candy comes out. It's a nightmare. It tastes terrible, by the way, the candy, I mean.
I will say, to tag on to that story, I did a convention a couple of years ago in Florida that was multimedia convention. And I won't name the name of this person, but there was a guest there who I have been a fan of. I've been a fan of hers. She just recently died. I have been a fan of hers for years, since I was a child. And my brother's very right. Sometimes it may not be as good to meet someone that you've admired for so long, because I've never met a more awful, horrible human being in my life, to the point where I won't watch anything that she's in anymore. I've never seen someone who's so rude and so ugly and so hateful. And so it really kind of ruined my enjoyment of anything she does, because I watched and know what a horrible human being she was. And I'm speaking ill of the dead, so what? She just died within the past year. So.
Wow. First, let me say I can't wait to talk to you after this panel's over.
If you're a fan of the old Bob Newhart show, you might know who she is.
Oh, okay.
Awful human being.
I'm surprised.
Brilliant comedian.
Yeah.
Awful human being.
Wow. Well, I just went down once and I was talking to my friend on the phone. I said, "Yeah, I'm doing this con. It's really cool." You know, and I was naming the guests. And I'm like, "Blah blah. Actually, this is great for this con." I said, "Yeah, blah blah." You know, with Tony Oliver. What? I love Robotech. I said, "Can you get his autograph?" I said, "I was just in the green room. We were hanging out. I'm supposed to go back to him and say, Tony, my friend, wants you to." That would be very uncomfortable. So I asked the staffer to do it. I don't think he knows that. But
well played, sir.
Right, next one. Actually, I'm going to say my only story about that. Okay, first off, I'm a horrible human being because I can't remember people's names at all. Yes, it's rude. Even important people. If these guys were named Kris, you know, I wouldn't know. He was a guest at this con. He was the Doctor Who writer.
Oh, Paul Burnell.
Paul Burnell. Yeah. So he was here, and I was like, wow, I get to read, or I get to meet. You know, that's the first time I really sort of like fanboyed out just a little bit. And so he comes in down in the lobby, and there's people around him, and I'm just like, oh, hang out inside, and and say hi. And so he comes around, he gets everybody, comes around to me, and I say, oh, hi, my name's Kris McCormic. I'm here, I'm Phade, and I run the animemusicvideos.org website. And his next words are, really? My wife's a big fan of your site. That's like, what? Yeah, she convinced me to come here. I was like, great! So it was weird that suddenly the tables, I was like about the fanboy, and then the tables were turned, and I was like, that's awesome! I can't wait to meet her. Like full circle. I know, it was instantly weird.
That's called a win.
Yes. He was a really nice guy. I could hang with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm sure he'd like that.
Yes. Hi, I'm Bruce. Now, as we all know, Kris is a great name. I can't think of a conceivable reason why you want to change it, but if you had to change your name from Kris to something else, what would you change it to? I'll say Bruce.
I will tell you this while my compatriots gather their thoughts. I don't have a particular thing I'd want to change. Well, I did go through a phase I'll tell it this way. My dad's name was Cliff. my older siblings are named Colleen, Craig, and Chad. You may detect a theme. I found out that I narrowly avoided being named Chip. I did go through a phase because I was a huge fan of trains as a child, but I went through a phase I resented having not been named Casey. I don't know how many people know who Casey Jones is anymore, but anyway, that's all I got on it.
Malachi. I like that. Plus, I'm a big horror movie fan. As well, I chose Corn. I like Malachi. Also, and by the way, I don't want to change the rules here, but just for a moment, my last name is Cason, so there are some names I can't. For example, my son one day will never be named Casey. Will never be named Jason, Mason, or Justin.
I've always been partial to names, and I always said if I had sons, I would name them Malcolm Anthony and Nigel Sebastian, because Ayres is a very English last name. And my mother said, why would I name children Nigel or Malcolm? I said, because I don't want them to have friends. So Nigel, Malcolm, or possibly Alex. But I really like Nigel.
Yeah.
Nobody's named Nigel anymore.
Or
Jeeves.
I don't know what Jeeves.
Jeeves, yeah.
Jeeves.
Jeeves, nah,
doesn't roll.
If you're determined that from birth they're going to be destined for butlering.
There are worse jobs.
I just settle for Kris with a CH.
That's beautiful.
Just curious, was there ever a moment when you were working with somebody that you just could not believe that you had the pleasure of working with, and it turned out to be like one of the greatest experiences working in your life?
So you thought it was going to be bad and it had to be good? Is that what you're saying?
No, like just like something ended up happening at work, like you ended up working with somebody that ended up like making your job so much better than it could have been, just like a really great work experience with somebody.
Yes.
Mine has nothing to do with the job I do now. I was very fortunate when I was younger, when I was about 18, to work with one of my childhood heroes. I was cast opposite Anthony Newley in a musical version of The Life of Charlie Chaplin. He played Chaplin as an adult, and I played him as a teenager when he was doing vaudeville. And the chance to work with Anthony Newley, I was beside myself. And he was one of the kindest, most amazing men you'd ever want to meet.
That's great.
It's very cool.
That's a Bowie basic singing style.
Yeah, you can open every vowel up to an A.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that for me, it had nothing to do with anime or what I do now, but it's really, really incredible for me.
Yeah, I guess everybody else we met sucks. I can't really think of.
I did get to draw a comic with Anthony Newley once.
Very cool.
It's hard to pick one in general. I mean, there were people I had been a fan of and then got to work with. I mean, Greg Wiseman, Young Justice. I don't know if a particular one leaps out other than that example.
Oh, for me, there's this director at Funimation that I really, really wanted to work with, and he cast me in a show, and I was so excited to work with him, and I went up there to work, and I got there, and that guy went to a convention and left me with a sub-director.
What a jerk!
Me! I just had to do that to you, Chris.
Oh man. Yeah, we did have a time.
But you got Tony Oliver's autograph at that convention.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. I still regret that.
I do too. I'm sorry we didn't get to work together.
Yeah, me too.
We got time for a couple of quick questions on a speed run because I know we're running out of time.
Okay, Bruce.
Something can be answered quick.
What was your favorite cartoon or other child-oriented entertainment growing up?
Robotech.
Groovy Ghoulies. Groovy Ghoulies.
3 seconds.
I like the HR pop stuff type stuff. I like the cross superstars, City Mike Cross, all that stuff. Yeah, I love it.
Super Friends is horrible, but at the time, Super Friends.
If you had to pick a book that you think everyone should read, what would it be?
The Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
50 Shades of Grey.
My life. You guys.
Sequel queries for dummies.
The Yellow Pages.
Another one.
Okay, since we're all named Bruce here, what's your favorite comedy bit, be it from Monty Python or something else?
God, that's not a fast answer question. Yeah.
Who's on first? It's hard to beat.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All the Khrises agree.
Yes, we
Yeah.
agree.
Four Khrises agree.
Mother approved.
I'm at a bar and my water glass is really bothering me. Remember, if you're eating evidence.
Thanks, Mom.
I am never thirsty.
Thank you all for being here.
Best concert you've ever been to?
George Carlin.
Oh, yeah.
Twice. I ushered two shows in a row.
I can't beat that.
I don't do music concerts, so.
And I'm just wishing I'd been at that one. I got nothing else.
We got nothing.
If you had to fight somebody, who would it be?
Someone very small and weak.
Is that something that we could fight and win?
If you had to fight,
Small and weak.
fight a superhero, what superhero would you fight? You don't have to win.
I'm small and old and broken. I'm not going to win any fight except unless it's against Stephen Hawking. And even then, he might win.
I'm going to say Robin, because I think it'd be cool to actually see the sound effect hanging in the air. But I don't think it would hurt as much to be hit by him as Batman.
I would choose Aquaman because it would be a stupid fight.
Stay on land.
Ooh. Now what, Aquaman?
No.
Yeah.
Have you ever cosplayed in disguise after all?
After all our panels?
Yeah. Unless you just go to.
I've never done after panels, but I was showing him some pictures. Just recently, my girlfriend and I did the 7th Doctor in Ace from Doctor Who, and it was nice because I had the beard on Friday. So Saturday, Friday night, I shaved the beard, no Hawaiian shirt, no big cup, no one recognized me. Until I showed up for my first panel in that outfit, and people were like, ooh. So yeah, but I now understand what cosplayers go through. That was insane. I couldn't walk 12 feet without someone wanting a picture of us. It took us like 2 hours to get through the lobby. Why do you do that? You can't go anywhere.
You're cool.
But it was a lot of fun. Because I love the 7 Doctors. And he's the only one I look like, so. That or when Rowan Atkinson played the Doctor. Curse the Fatal Death. You know who the Doctor Who geeks are.
Next, Bruce.
Bruce, what's that project you're working on right now that you're really excited about?
That you can talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That
we
you're
can
allowed
talk
to
about.
discuss.
You guys go first.
I'm working on a comic called Parallel Man. The website will be launching in about 2 weeks. It's a science fiction book that I'm helping design from the ground up, and I'm really excited about it.
Sweet.
I just wrote a show, actually with Tony, called Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, and it's really good. You should watch it.
I have a day job.
I just finished directing probably one of the most exciting shows that I've worked on in a number of years. It's called From the New World, and it is probably the most complicated, complex thing I've done in several years. So I'm really pleased with it. It's got an amazing cast. So check it out. I think it's the Volume 1 streets next week.
Alright, so you got less than a minute, probably less than
Quick
30
question.
seconds. Favorite movie?
Oh my God. You didn't raise your hand.
What's your favorite character that you did the voice for?
We didn't all do voices for characters. Sorry, next question.
Who's on first?
What?
Okay. I was that's one. So I have a big bag of peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, guys.
Not anymore.
And so several years ago, I'm at the convention and I'm doing my panels and stuff like that. And it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, and somebody comes in and says, "Hey, do you need anything? You're setting up for your panel." And at that moment, I realized that I had not eaten anything that entire day. Like, no breakfast, I've had like water. I was like, wow, can you give me a snack of some kind? Because I'm really hungry. And so they came back with, it was the bigger bag. This is like the three, it was like this frickin' 6-pound bag of peanut M&Ms. And I was like, really? This is awesome. And so I carried that thing around and I ate it, the whole thing. It was great. And so then the next year, they came in and I walk in and they said, "Here's your bag of peanut M&Ms." Every year they've given me a bag of peanut M&Ms, and I thank you guys for it, and I share it as much as I can. Thank you very much.
Alright, we're done.
Thank you guys.